Hello viewers, welcome back to our channel Apex Hours, and this is our last session of MuleSoft for Salesforce developers, and this session is all about deploying and managing APIs. If you remember the API lifecycle of MuleSoft, we started with designing APIs, developing APIs, deploying, and this will be like deploying and managing APIs. If you correctly remember, I have told you like MuleSoft is kind of a Anypoint platform is one-stop place for APIs where you can design APIs, develop APIs, deploy APIs and manage APIs, right? So this is the last section. So far we have seen like deploying our application on local and then testing on local, but usually when it is local we will connect only within our local and it will run only in our system, but these applications have to be exposed to the world so that people can use it, right? So that is what we are going to do, and there is no code here involved because this is deploying application, minimal code. I will show you what is the thing that we have to do, and it will be more of configurations, and you will see how beautifully MuleSoft has designed to apply policies. All right, and without getting started, so today's our agenda is a recap of our previous session and deploying API application, deploying the APIs or the applications on CloudHub, and then applying the policies. So what we have seen in our previous session, I think I haven't changed this, but so in our previous session we have seen the for each component, parallel for each and batch processing. So please do hands-on to understand more. So let's talk about deployment types. How many types of deployments does MuleSoft provide? Okay, so we have various kinds of deployment options. First is CloudHub deployments. Second is hybrid or on-prem deployments. Third is Anypoint runtime fabric deployments. But and there is another one, Anypoint platform private cloud edition. But in this session we are going to concentrate only on CloudHub deployments because the on-prem and all, like CloudHub are the generic ones. If you want to understand the basics, it is easy for you to go with the CloudHub deployments, but for the advanced level and all, you can go with on-prem, Anypoint runtime fabric and all those stuff. Basically CloudHub deployments are nothing but CloudHub is kind of iPaaS, integration platform as a service, which allows you to deploy your applications through runtime manager. Okay, now we are going to use a new feature from Anypoint platform, that is runtime manager. Then the total infrastructure is managed and controlled by MuleSoft CloudHub itself. You don't have to have your own infrastructure. You don't have to worry about how to manage them or how to control them. Everything is managed and controlled by MuleSoft CloudHub. So the licensing will be for the same. All right. It requires at least minimum of 0.1 vCore and 1 worker to deploy a single application. And this is, I am talking about CloudHub 1.0 version. We have CloudHub 2.0 version as well, but in this session I am going to concentrate on CloudHub 1. CloudHub 2 is also very easy. It's not very hard to deploy. Everything is configuration. Okay. When I say 0.1 core and 1 worker, imagine your laptop. Okay. Your RAM, the processing is 0.1 vCore and it is approximately equal to 500 MB of RAM in CloudHub 1.0. One worker is like one instance, means one laptop. That means you are deploying your application only to one laptop. At least you require one laptop with a 500 MB of RAM to deploy an application. Consider that way. Okay. Next, for manual deployment, basically for manual deployments. So these sessions are for beginners, so everything will be manual here, but in real-time projects and all, the DevOps team will be taking care of the deployments and stuff. Okay, as a developer, your role will be only till like developing the APIs and committing your code to any Bitbucket or GitHub. From there, the DevOps team will start, they have their own scripts to run and deploy the applications. So either deploy. So now in this session, we will be seeing like either to deploy the application using Anypoint Studio directly or log into Anypoint platform and deploy through runtime manager. The process is same. Okay, the process is same, but only way is the way how to deploy the application changes. All right. So CloudHub deployment via Anypoint Studio. Once your coding is done, right click. I think all this stuff, what I wanted to do is, it's better for me to show in the hands-on part. Okay, so deploying application via Anypoint Studio, you need to just right click on the project, go to Anypoint platform, click on deploy to CloudHub. you have to log into your Anypoint platform, and then it will show like whatever is there in runtime manager, it will show, and just click on the deploy application. And via Anypoint platform, I would recommend this step usually. So go to Anypoint platform. We have already seen we have deployed an application, right? So earlier in the second session itself. So you have to take this jar file, whatever is created from your target folder, and go to Anypoint platform, runtime manager, choose your environment, and then upload your file. Okay, the worker size and workers can be increased based upon your application size. Okay, so we will be going to, so this is managing APIs. Before managing APIs, I would like to start from the step 1. So far I wanted to let you know, like if you have seen here, many of them have commented on the videos also, like Sravan, why are you dragging and dropping HTTP listeners manually, right? This is because I wanted to show you like on local and for development purpose I have done that. But in real time cases, you don't have to create multiple, you don't have to drag and drop multiple listeners and do that. Okay, we know that designing RAML is the first step. Let's go with the first step itself. Anypoint platform, designing APIs, right? Designing APIs will be in design center. So I will start with designing, and I don't do any development. I will keep only dummy payload, and then I will deploy the applications. But I will see the process how I am doing, and please try to do the same hands-on from your side by pausing the video. Okay, now let me create a new API specification. This will be like final project, final demo, Apex hours, something like this. Okay, I am comfortable with RAML 1.0. Create an API. Now for our use case, I will create 4 different methods, but again I am not going into deep like validations and all. I will just use the method name and resource. I will give the resource names. Okay, so very quickly I will say like get order details. Okay, something like this. It will take some time. Sorry. Get order details. Okay, get method, and I won't keep any body and all. I'll directly go to responses 200. Okay, body application JSON. I'm just using the default ones. Example, I'll keep like order 1 status some open. Okay, this is some dummy response I want to give. Now I don't want to just waste the time on creating RAML, so I will just use this one. Let me keep like post order details, and this can be a post method. All right, status created. All right, I have 2 methods, and I can keep the same post. I can keep put method with the same name. Okay, and paste it over here. Okay, so that I will have only, you have to make sure if you want to use the same endpoint with a different method, then okay, this it should be on the same place. Okay, I will keep it as put, status as updated. All right, now you can see I have created 3 different endpoints. Here the resource name might be same, but you have 2 different methods, so you have to consider total 3 different resources. So this is like, you can easily guess if you ask, like someone is asking you by looking at here, how many resources do you have? You can say like you have 3 resources based upon the number of methods that you have. So one get order details, the other one is post order details, the other one is put order details. There are 3 different resources. The first question, or even the examination point of view also, they might ask you a question like, if you are cloning this RAML into your Anypoint Studio, how many flows will be generated automatically? That is a question that might be asked to you. Okay, in that case you have to check what is the question that they are asking specifically, whether it is private flows or general flows. Okay, usually there like the number of private flows are directly equal to the number of methods you are having. In this case there are 3 methods, so 3 private flows will be generated along with 1 main flow. So if they're asking total number of flows, excluding API, I will show you in the hands-on better. So before going there, I will just publish this to Exchange. That is your next step. Okay. After designing the YAML, next step is publishing to Exchange. Let's wait for this application to be published to Exchange. Everything is interlinked here for deploying application. That's why I'm showing from starting. Okay, this is published to Exchange. You can go to Exchange and see whether your application is published successfully or not. Okay, you can see final demo Apex hours here, and you can see it will take some time to spin up. So you can go to the summary and check. Okay. You can go back and always you can check like final demo Apex hours here. Okay. Back to the new UI. You can see everything over here for now. All right. So now what we have to do in the home. So this is done. Okay. We are good with this. Next thing that you have to do is go to your Anypoint Studio. Okay. Forget about whatever is there. I'm just closing my project here. Okay. Go to file, import. Okay. File, import API specification from design center. Okay. For API specification, or what you can do is file, new Mule project. You can click on this new Mule project. You can give the same name that we have given, final demo, what is the name? It should always be the same. Okay, for best practices, final demo Apex hours. Earlier we directly clicked on finish, but now you have published your application right into Exchange. What you can do is click on plus symbol here from Exchange. Okay, it will take you to the login platform. If you didn't log in already, it will take you to the login platform. Okay, please log in. If you're not logged in, please log in. Sometimes it will take time because you are trying to connect to your Anypoint platform from Studio. So sometimes it will take time. Don't worry. So this is my sign in. Okay, my password is wrong. Okay, here the login expires after 15 days. Keep it like that so that it will be active for next 15 days. So once you are logging into your Anypoint platform from Anypoint Studio, okay, that will show you the number of applications that were published to Exchange. If you are not able to see automatically here, you can always search, like I will search with final. Okay. Still, if it is not showing over here, what you can do is, see, it is searching. It will take some time. What it is doing is, from your Anypoint Studio, it is connecting to Anypoint platform. That's why it takes time. But still, you can see final demo Apex hours. So you can choose this. Click on add. It will add, and then click on finish. Okay, it is adding here, and I'm just clicking on finish. All right. So this is how, when you are creating a new project, you can connect to API Exchange and scaffold this YAML. Okay. It is taking a bit of time because it is connecting to Anypoint platform. This, you guys, you can probably face the same issue. So don't worry. Have some patience. Okay, I am done. Now you can click on finish. Now you can see automatically some set of flows will be generated for you. Even MuleSoft here is doing that donkey work and providing you so that there is less amount of coding that is required from your side. Basic flows will be created, like for example, HTTP listener, all those stuff will be created for you. Can you see here what happened? So it is creating how many flows? That might be one question. Okay. To check that, I will right click and collapse all so that everything will be minimized. By default, if they are asking how many flows they are generated, it will be always like number of methods plus 2 additional flows. Okay, you can see put, get and post, three flows are generated, plus additionally main flow and console flow, total 5 flows. Okay, when they ask you total flows, number of flows, it will be like number of methods plus 2, but usually they don't ask you number of flows, they might ask number of private flows that are generated. Number of private flows that are generated. Private flows means it will not have source, anything on the source. You can see first 2 flows they will have HTTP listeners. Okay, console you can ignore, but total number of flows, private flows that are generated are these. Okay, it is directly proportional to the number of methods you have. We have 3, so we are having 3. All right, rest everything is fine. You can go to HTTP listener and see everything like how it is configured. Okay, so edit the configuration, all basic stuff. Only thing you have to do from local to deploy the application, I told you in our previous session, is http.port. Okay, I'll just use http.port and click on OK. Okay, rest everything I am leaving as it is. Usually all the implementation part, for example connecting to Salesforce, for example if you want to create a record, what you can do is this one, you can delete it and keep your flows like, say, dragging and dropping the Salesforce connector. And if you're connecting to a database, here you can delete this and add your logic and all those stuff here. I'm not going into development phase now because we have already completed it. Okay, I will keep like this. One more small thing that, okay, fine, I will show that in the managing policies. Now deploying the application into CloudHub, very simple. I told you to run first. Okay, run the project. This will automatically fail because remember I was telling you that http.port will not be available. It will pick up from CloudHub itself. I have already shown how to deploy the application using CloudHub, but I am repeating again. This is something like by generating the flows from your RAML. Very simple, no code, less code. Let it, so it's failing because it says like couldn't find the configuration property http.port, but still fine, because there is a jar file that is automatically created in the target folder. That is what we will be using. So if you refresh, I am not sure if it will be available here or not. Yeah, if you refresh it, okay, if you refresh it, there is a snapshot created, okay, with .jar file. Okay, this is what we need to use to deploy our application. I told right there are 2 ways to deploy your application. Okay, there are 2 ways to deploy your application. One is through Anypoint Studio and the other one is through Anypoint platform. But first I wanted to show you how to deploy your application using Anypoint platform. For that you have to go so Anypoint platform, I told you it is one-stop place. For designing APIs, you are using Design Center. To publish your APIs, you have used Exchange. Now, to deploy your application, there is a feature called Runtime Manager. Go to Runtime Manager. Okay, select your environment that you want to deploy. You can use your free trial. Free trial is only for 30 days. So if 30 days were crossed, you can again create a new email ID. Don't worry. So I am using sandbox environment for now. Next step is click on deploy application. So you will get into this portal. Okay, this portal is where we have to deploy our application. Now next thing, I am using, you can use either CloudHub 2.0, but for now I wanted to show you CloudHub 1.0, which is nothing but CloudHub itself. Click on CloudHub, give some name of the application. So this is final, if I copy it, then final demo Apex hours. Okay, by default the application name it should be of 42 characters. I will show you. Okay, by default maximum length is 42 characters, minimum length is 3 characters. That is really important for you, and there are no special characters that are required. Okay, so for now I am giving this final demo Apex hours. I am choosing my deployment target to CloudHub because I want to deploy my application into CloudHub. This is what I told, like minimum requirements are where is my this thing, 0.1 vcore and 1 worker to deploy a single application. So 0.1 vcore is 500 MB of memory, 1 worker is like 1 instance. Okay, based upon your scalability, if your application is very huge, you can deploy it into multiple application. Usually in production and all, we deploy in more than 1 workers, and worker size, if your application size is huge, you can use more memory. Okay, right? And rest everything I am keeping as it is. Here I can probably, okay, it's fine if it is runtime 4.5.0, use the latest one. And rest of the region I wanted to deploy this in US East, but depends upon where you want to deploy. I am keeping all of them as it is. Okay, just everything. Only thing what we need to do is choose this file. I told you, right, the jar file that is generated here, correct? We have to use that to deploy our application. So upload the file. Let me go to Anypoint Studio, workspace, and where is our final demo? Yes, here, go to the target folder, and this is our jar which is created. Click on here. Now it will try to upload, and just click on deploy application. We are not writing any lines of codes to deploy your application, because everything is managed by MuleSoft, everything is controlled by MuleSoft in CloudHub deployment model. Right? Very easy, right, to deploy your application. It will take some time to upload and deploy. So meanwhile, I will reiterate what is happening. So we have 3 deployment models, 4 deployments in rather, CloudHub deployment, hybrid deployment on-prem, or runtime fabric, and private cloud edition. For this demo purpose or for beginner sessions, it is okay to use CloudHub deployments because it is coming for free. And yes, first step is designing an API. We design using RAML, then we have published that into Exchange, and then we have gone to Anypoint Studio to import your RAML. It is generating basic flows for you. Okay, then you can put all your logic in respective private flows, and then go to runtime manager and then deploy the application. All that you need to do is write the application name, select your deployment target, pick your jar file, and choose your worker size and workers. Okay, let it get deployed. It's still uploading the file. Let's wait for it. It's just like how you deploy your application on local. It will be done in the same way. As we see the console to check the status, here also we have something like in logs. It started the deployment. Okay, so now what we are trying to do is we are deploying our application in the CloudHub so that it is accessible from anywhere. If you hit the URL from your side as well, it will work. We'll see how it works. See here, it started. So which region it is going to deploy? Okay, it is saying like deploying application to 1 worker in this region. Okay, and it is starting the CloudHub. This is the IP address of the instance where it is deploying. Here we are not applying any policies. So why to apply policies also I will be explaining you for those who are beginners. Okay, if this application is deployed, okay, into CloudHub, this application is accessible for everyone. Okay, anyone who has the URL can hit it, and they can access our API. But in real time scenario, we should not be doing that, right? We'll give these APIs to only those who are authorized to use it. For that purpose, we will be using policies to apply. Let's wait for this application to be deployed. It will take some time for the first time, because this is a free trial, and everyone will be using this free trial. Our application is queued, so we have to wait for some time. Okay, Meanwhile, I will again reiterate, the number of private flows that are generated are equal to the number of methods that you have within your application. So these are the basic flows. So this API kit router, it will route whenever you send the request in Postman, here it will route, okay, to your respective flows. All your ramls will be under source main API, or probably it might have generated like a zip file. Yep. Okay, API definition, here it is. We'll see where we are. Let me refresh it. Now it is starting your application. Here you can see, okay, deployment logs and all. Worker 0 means one first worker. Okay, if you're deploying in 2 workers, you have worker 0 and worker 1. All right. Again, I wanted to show you all the settings here because it is taking time. I wanted to repeat again. Number of workers are 0.1 and 1. Rest properties, there are some different tabs, properties, insights, login, etc. These are advanced concepts, but for basic stuff, it is just required to know which runtime version, with how many workers you required, and worker size and the region. Okay, my application is deployed successfully because it is in started state. Can you see in green color? Okay, your application is started. Now here in Postman, usually what we do, we are using localhost blah 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 and hitting it, right? And there is no application deployed now. To access this, what we have to do, so I will just bring my Postman here. So now to get the URL, you can copy this app URL. Now it is deployed in cloud. Okay, it is accessible over internet using HTTP protocol. All that we need to do is paste it here. Okay, and your protocol is HTTP //and/API. If I just send API, see what it is happening. It is saying resource not found, because what is our resource? Our resource, we have multiple resources, isn't it? Go to the design center or exchange if you don't know. You have already published to the exchange, so I can go to exchange and see what all endpoints are present. We have one get, one put and one post. So based on that, I can try to use the endpoint. So here, specification, somehow it should actually show the endpoints here. Okay, it's fine, we know that it is there here. Okay, post, like post order or get order details, API / get order details, right, and send it. You can see you are getting this endpoint. And what if you are using post method for get order details? It will say method not allowed, because you are using a wrong, there is no resource name get order details with this method. Okay, it is saying method not allowed because get order details we have defined for a get method. All right, next endpoint was like post, and it was like post order, right? Post order details, send it, order created, right? 200. Okay, again if you use a different method here, get, it will say method not allowed. But we have another put method with the same name, post order details, so you can send it, it will say updated. So as my application is deployed in CloudHub, I was able to access this endpoint and my order is fulfilled, right? So this is how you have to deploy your application in CloudHub. Okay, now why do we need to apply policies? The reason to apply policies is, now this particular endpoint, if you try to hit from your side also, you will be able to access this because it is deployed in cloud and there were no policies applied. So to restrict that, we are going to apply policies. So now coming back to our slides, we have seen this. Okay, I'm not going to show with Anypoint Studio because that is not really required, but managing APIs, okay, API manager helps to apply policies, grant and revoke access to these APIs. Anypoint platform's API managers policies can be applied to the applications which are deployed only on CloudHub. All right. We have two ways to apply the policies. One is without creating proxy APIs and the other one is with creating a proxy APIs. But I think for hands-on purpose, I will show you only without creating proxy APIs, because I don't want everything to put on your mind too many things, because first if you start learning the basics, then it will be easier for you to understand. I'll just explain theoretically what is like creating the proxy APIs and not creating proxy APIs. The main difference in both of them is using API or auto discovery in your actual application, or okay. So first we will see applying policies without creating proxy APIs. So for that, create a API specification from design center and publish to exchange. Once tested, we have done this already. Second thing is go to API manager, click on manage API and choose from exchange. Select the API name that you have designed in the design center, and once you click on save, API ID is generated. And go to your code, add auto discovery element with the API ID. That's it. Now you can deploy again your application by providing these two. So to apply policies, we need three things. One is API ID, next Anypoint client ID and Anypoint client secret. Okay. Let's see hands-on. So coming back here, what is the first step that I have shown you? Let me put all my this thing here. So here I was telling you, create API specification from design center and publish to exchange. Yes, I have done that already. Next thing is, again in Anypoint platform, we have another feature called API manager. If you see in our first sessions, we have seen that like API manager, right? API manager is to apply policies or grant access or whatever it is. Okay, go to your API manager. Very simple. Everything is through clicks. No code involved in applying policies. Let me refresh it. Okay, now you are on Anypoint manager, API manager and sandbox environment. If you want to create, I told you, right, click on add API. Okay, add new API, click on this. Okay, here choose Mule gateway. This is new screen. Okay, I mean new version. In 3 years back, the the UI was different for API manager. Here in this case, once you click on add API, go to Mule gateway, because that is where we have to deploy your application. Keep the default options. We are using Mule 4, yes, and connecting to existing application, which is basic endpoint, or deploy a proxy application. That is our second method I told. So proxy type, but for now it is basic endpoint. We don't want to cover the proxy application there. Okay, basic endpoint. Click on next. And now choose your application that you have published to exchange. It will take some time to show it here. Where is our application? Final demo Apex hours. This one, right? This one. Okay. Choose your application. Keep everything by default. Go to next. Okay. Instance label, if you want, I will say like dev endpoint, dev environment. You can give any namings. Okay. Advanced option, if you want to give any consumer endpoint separately, you can give it, or you can leave as it is for now. Click on next. Downstream, I am not going to give anything. Click on next. Now you will review everything is good or not. Yes, I am using the run type as Mule gateway, then basic endpoint. This is my RAML version and this is my protocol. Click on save. I told you, right? Once you click on save, API ID is generated. Where is that API ID? This one. API instance ID is nothing but API ID. Very simple. Currently the status is showing as unregistered, which means even after creating this API manager and after generating this API ID for this final demo, still without applying policies, you are getting the response. Okay, you are getting the response. That means my policies are not applied yet. To do that, what we have to do, first thing is copy this API ID. Okay, go to your code. Only one additional thing that you have to do is create auto discovery. If you search for auto API auto discovery, double click on it, put that API ID here, whatever you copied from here, put that API ID over here, and flow name should be always to the main flow, because main flow is the place where you receive the request because you have listeners. Okay, this is the only additional code change that you might need to add. Okay, now what I am trying to do is I am trying to again run the application so that it will create a new build now, new jar file. All that we will do is we will go to our runtime manager go to our final demo Apex hours. We will redeploy the application. We are not going to delete this application. We are going to just go to settings and redeploy it. Very simple. You don't have to do anything. But additionally, there are some things that I told you that we might need to do. I'll show you first. Wait, let us generate the jar file. You don't have to wait for the deployment also. It is failed because of this reason. Okay, no worries, but the jar file is created. First thing is choose the jar file wherever you have created. This is your jar file. Open. Is it enough to apply policies? No, I mentioned something, right? Now deploy your application by providing Anypoint platform client ID and client secret, which you get from access management. Okay, now another step we have to do is go to the new tab, Anypoint platform, go to Anypoint platform. Guys, again, this access management, usually if you're working in real time in your organization accounts, you won't be having access to access management. Okay, these client ID secret values will be given by your platform team. Okay, but this is your own account. You will be able to see access management here. Okay, so here in the environments, if you click on this environments, okay, it is saying like it has moved to business groups. Select the business group and okay, business groups, then click on your business groups, go to environments here. Okay, and sandbox environments, if you click, this is how you will get client ID. This is your client ID of your Anypoint platform account. All that you need to do is, now you uploaded your new file, go to properties, type anypoint.platform.client_id, put the value here. Okay, add one more, anypoint.platform.client_secret, client ID and client secret. Client secret value will be here. I'm not sure if I can copy this. Okay, paste it here. All right, I think it is not getting copied. Let me add it. Okay, so let me go here and paste it. All right, I can reset this, but yeah, these are my Anypoint platform and client ID. Go here. Okay, everything is done. We are good. Click on apply changes. That's it. So go to again logs. Okay, it is uploading the application again. Okay, it will take some time, but before that I wanted to reiterate, you can see my application is getting uploaded, the jar file. So what I have done so far, I went to my API manager here, click on add API, add new API, select Mule gateway, go next. I'm selecting my API, whatever I want to apply policies, right? For example, Banksys API, go next. Next, I'm using all default option. Next, review it, save it. You'll get a API ID. Okay, once you get API ID, you'll be using this API ID into your code by creating a global element auto discovery, and in auto discovery you will paste API ID and select the main flow name. Why we are selecting main flow? Because this is where the main flow we have listener and the request comes here. Okay, so again coming back here, what will happen, you see currently it is in unregistered. Final demo Apex hours is unregistered state. Once my application is deployed successfully, this will turn into active. The status will turn into active. That means then only we can apply policies. I'm still waiting for this application to be deployed. It will take some time because my jar file is huge. Usually if you stay on the screen it will be a bit faster. So let's wait for the application to be started. It is taking more than we expecting. So what I will try to do is I will stop the application. I will delete the target folders, this thing, because sometimes it overrides and create a big file. Okay, so I will run it. Meanwhile, we'll see if this, or let me stop the application first. Let me stop the application. Let me create a new jar file. The build is success here. So what I will do is, let me restart, reload. I will repeat the process again because sometimes it behaves weird. That's why we usually go with DevOps team. We don't actually do this in real time, like manually uploading the jar files. So what I'm going to do, go to properties again, everything will be erased. So anypoint dot platform dot client underscore id, copy this. Okay, put some values so that anypoint dot client id client underscore secret, and these values you have to copy again. Go to environments, you have to copy the same environment client credentials or else it will fail. We are in sandbox, so use sandbox. So copy this again, cancel, go here, paste it here. All right, so this, we are good with this part. And then go to choose file, upload the file, go to this. Now it is like 55 MB only, so it should be quick. Okay, once it is done, click on apply. When you click on apply, it will try to upload the application. So due to bad internet connectivity, it was taking time, but now it is getting uploaded. So you can click on start now. Because I stopped it, you have to click on stop. So go to the logs. Now you observe what is happening over here. So this is my previous deployment. You can see all this status, but this is the new deployment now. Let it get deployed. let it get deployed. So meanwhile, I wanted to reiterate the concepts. So API auto discovery is really important. So how does it relates, right? Go to API manager, go to what it will check is whatever API ID you are putting over here, you are adding that in the auto discovery and then deploying into runtime manager. That's how there is a link between runtime manager and API manager. Let me refresh it. As this is like a free account, usually your applications will be queued along with the others, so it will take time, but don't worry, have some patience here. Okay, it is getting deployed. So how to check whether our application here, still one more thing that you wanted to see is like it is still in unregistered state. So we will see what will happen. Wait for this to get it deployed. I'm just refreshing the logs. Okay, my application is deployed, and here I have to see if the status has turned into active or not in API manager. Only when the status is turning on active, then only we can say that our policies, we are ready to apply policies. It is still in unregistered state. What it is saying is, to complete the registration process, you need to connect this API to your Mule using auto discovery. That's what we have done, but let's see if it is blocked or unblocked. So see what I'm doing. I'm saying like blocked. There are two places that you will see. Okay, this is blocked. Whenever it says that, you can see API key is now unblocked and available, and this API ID is nothing but the API ID that we have created, right? So here it will take some time usually to reflect. So keep refreshing and see if it is in active status or not. But this is where you can see that your API key is now unblocked. You can see my status is active here. Okay, now what is happening, we are linking our API manager with this application via runtime manager using this API ID. Okay, now can we hit Postman again? Yes, I am able to hit. Why I am not? Then what is the thing that we have done so far? We have just tried to register your application using API ID, but we didn't apply policies yet. For that, what you have to do is go to policies section here. You can find number of policies. Okay, but for now I will show you only two different policies. Okay, there are many policies. All that you have to do is, you don't have to write any code. Click on add policy and choose the policy type you want. Okay, for now I will keep like basic authentication. Okay, which means I will provide some username and password. So only people who has that username and password, for example, I will give like so I will say like, for example, root and 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, or just 7 8. Okay, so now I will say like apply policies to all the methods and resources and click on apply. Okay, you don't have to, the policy is created successfully. Now you might be having a question like, do we need to deploy anything again, redeploy? No, you don't have to redeploy. After applying policies, just wait for few seconds. Okay, if I run it now again, can you see here? I am getting unauthorized 404 because I applied policy. I applied my policy. That's why now no one can hit this API unless and until he is having username and password. What is it saying? Registered authentication is set to basic authentication and you are not giving any username and password. To make it run, you have to go to authorization. You have to select basic auth here. Okay, and you have to say like Sravan or root and 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, now if you send with the correct details, now you are getting what? You are getting the result. So this is what applying policies means. That means you are restricting the users to use your endpoint. It's just like, you know, authentication. Okay, and if you give wrong password, for example 9 here, it says like authentication attempt failed. So only people who are having a username and password, they can only, you know, access this one. This is one kind of policy. Now if you want to delete any policy, right click and just remove policy and remove it. Very simple. Okay, one more, this is the final one for today's session and of course for the last for all the sessions. One more policy which is quite commonly used is client ID enforcement. I'll tell you what is client ID enforcement. Click on this. Okay, next, go next, and it will ask you for further more details, like if you want to have like client underscore ID and client underscore secret, that you want it to pass in headers or you want it in basic authentication header. So I will go with custom type like client underscore ID and client underscore secret. Click on apply. Now earlier we gave username and password, correct? Username and password we have given. We are using the same username and password in my Postman, root and 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Now how to, so let me run this again. Okay, it is still giving the response because it will take some time to apply the policies. There is no need for you to deploy the application, but it will take some time to apply policy. Okay, so can you see here, earlier it was showing this thing, now send it. It is still giving yes because it is still like basic authentication policy. Wait for 1 minute at least to get this policy reflected. Now it is saying authentication denied. Now basic auth is no longer accepted because we have applied a different policy called client ID enforcement. Then how to get those client ID and secret values? How to get those? These client ID and secret, remember this is very important point. Most of them get confused. Whatever client IDs and secret values that it is expecting is not the client ID from access management. These client ID and secrets which we have used is only for applying policies while deploying the application, but not to access the application. Okay, to get this client ID enforcement, client ID and secret values, all that you have to do is go to Exchange. You are already in Exchange here, and then refresh it. We are applying client ID enforcement now. Refresh it. Then you will be having an option to request access to your API. Okay, here click on this 3 dotted line, click on this request access, drop down. This is the label that we have created, remember, dev environment, and select the application. What is our application name? You can create any new application. Now I am a consumer, so who should request this? Consumers or the customers can request this. So what they will do, they will go to request access, They will select this application, whatever you want. They can create new application, API testing, something like this. Click on create. Okay, then request access. All right, they will get new client ID and secret now. These are the ones which are required now. So what I will do, I will copy this, go to my Postman. Now I am not going to use the basic auth. I will click on no auth. I told you, right, we have applied on headers. So go to headers, type client underscore ID, paste the value here, then client underscore secret. Now copy the secret value. So this client underscore ID, this client ID and secret are only for this specific user. All right, so now paste it. All right, now because you are using client underscore ID and secret that you got from Exchange, when you send the request, you will get success response. Can you see? And if you are unchecking, which if you are not using authentication design, so only the consumer who is having this authentication details, they will be able to access your APIs. This is the beauty of applying policies, and you have seen how simple it is to apply policies. I haven't written any lines of code, or I haven't written, if I want to apply new policies or edit policies, I am not going to deploy my application again and again. It is automatically appended with the help of this API ID. Okay, and please remember, again I want to reiterate, whatever client ID and secret values that are present here and whatever client ID and secret we are using, these are different. Okay, this client ID and secret we will get from Exchange, and these are platform client ID and secret that you get from Access Management. So yep, that is the end of our Apex Hours MuleSoft for Salesforce developer sessions. Folks, if you have any questions, please follow us on our social media platform. You can comment on our YouTube videos. We will get back to you as soon as possible. And this is Sravanlingam. I am one of the MuleSoft ambassadors and MuleSoft leaders for Hyderabad and New Jersey. So I own MuleSoft-TechZone channel, so you can always reach out to me as well on my LinkedIn, and you can follow my social media platforms for easy access. Thank you so much for your patience. These 18 sessions have been really incredible, and we got very good feedback. Again, these sessions, whatever sessions are, these are the basic sessions to get started and also to complete MCD level 1 certification, and always a good start for a developer to move to advanced level. Okay, all that, there are no shortcuts in learning. It is always practice, practice, practice. Please do some hands-on. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to any of us. We will always get back to you. Once again, thank you for your support, and yep, this is all for MuleSoft for Salesforce developers.